We are here back in the Dolly Cam, and we're going to be going until the show stops. But we are here live in the booth of the Carmel Doll Shop, and they actually have a celebrity guest shopper. Alicia Carver is a celebrity guest in this shop. You guys have been talking about this little Hurray over here.
She's lovely. Could I talk about her? Or?
Sure.
It's a free country.
Okay. She came out of the Lynn Murray collection, and I was just noticing all her accessories, parasols,
Look at
and
that.
shoes and boxes and itty bits of Hurray stuff.
I think I read online she comes with 101 individual things.
Yes.
Am I correct on that?
Yes, you are.
Oh wow, stunning. She's absolutely breathtaking, and she's on a Clement body, which is really hard to find.
What is a Clement body?
It's a hollow, blown leather body. Pressed, okay. And many of them have disintegrated over the years, but to find one on an original Hurray head is really quite, makes it extra special, I think. Especially one that has really withstood the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Now, is it true that they could send their dolls in to be rebodied?
I believe so. I don't know enough about the early history, so that's where Michael
I had heard something like that.
In Paris, there was over 200 shops and many of the shops did restoration. So you could take any kind of doll and go get a new body for it. That's a very common thing to have happen at the time. Remember, they were played with.
They even did that with Barbie.
Yes, they were played with.
Yeah.
They were played,
and the gutta percha bodies really did disintegrate. Now this color of box will send anyone pea green with envy.
Yes.
Right here.
This is a Hurray green?
yes,
Now, is this an unstamped Hurray box or
that
stamped?
is an unstamped box.
Beautiful.
But there are boxes that are stamped.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now, this is the same Hurray green. Does that mean this one has aged and faded in
Yes,
color?
differently.
Okay.
Oh,
This
okay.
one looks mint then.
Yes, and it just depends on how they're exposed.
We have Patrizia tuning in from Italy, and she's absolutely vapor locking right now.
Oh, okay. Let's see that.
Oh,
at
there's
that.
the Hurray
There's the
stamp.
Hurray.
Oh, look at
stamp.
that.
Beautiful.
Wow. So wonderful to just even see that.
Yep.
And it's various. Again, that changes too as it has exposure. This is for a collar box, so it's got a little mantle or collar, whichever you want to call it. And she has a lot of.
We just want to dive in and go swimming. Look at
a lot
this.
of goodies there.
There
Look at this
are a
tiny
lot of
little
goodies.
purse.
Oh, I love
Look
it.
at this.
Oh,
It's a
look at the
little,
accents on the top.
It's
a
a
tweed.
okay.
And a tweed.
It's lovely.
But
What kind of leather is it?
Well, it's a very thin leather that is then embossed.
Ah, it has the look of
So
sort
it's
of
very, very thin.
Can you open it here?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It might be a little bit of a mess inside of it.
No.
You got it.
Got it. I'm afraid to open.
Oh, look, there are tools
little
inside.
places for
my
and
gosh.
tools and all kinds of little bone handles
Oh,
and stuff.
Those are
Wow.
very hard to get.
Yes. So.
And the red is a desirable color.
yes, it is.
How many years do you think did she collect these things all at once, or did this
No,
person?
I think she added to the stall. So this was her Hurray Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically the Hurray is the great grandmother of Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a plan where you would buy. Really, before the Hurray company, you bought a doll and you dressed it yourself. They were the first to have what we call ready to wear, where you go and buy it for the doll. Mm-hmm. So that.
Ready to wear. Now, wouldn't it be so nice if we could just, I guess you can walk into places
You
in
can.
Italy and buy outfits like this. Maybe
Sure you
we'll buy
can.
some before
Sure you
London.
can. Yes.
This is just phenomenal, and this is for sale. We are in the Carmel Doll Shop's booth here at the Wilmington Doll Show. This is particularly your favorite dress.
Yes, because it's
a
rare
netting.
that survived.
It is, and that it's
Really
not
is.
shredded or that
Yeah.
it's not ripped.
Yes.
Because the fabric is so thin.
Delicate.
Yep.
Actually,
It's marvelous.
Even now, it's not an expensive fabric. It wasn't an expensive fabric then. But what you have is the amount of ribbon it takes to put
Right.
it together.
Right.
And then it would have had a beautiful silk underskirt. You wouldn't have walked out without
Something
yes.
underneath there. She just looks marvelous and ready to go. What is it about the Hurray, Michael, that has always intrigued you? Because you love Hurrays.
Yes, I mean I think because it really captures they're not ladies and they're not toddlers. They're kind of that almost like what are they called, tweens?
Tweens, definitely a tween.
So it is a certain look, and actually this style of clothing went on a lot longer than people think.
Yes.
It lasted long.
Almost to the 1870s, right?
Yeah, really. Well, and even part of it, like this jumper, you know, with just a little bit of removing the fullness of it, this could be an 1870s jumper.
Right.
So it really was it's not really till the 1880s that this drastically changed, and then this would have become out of fashion.
Just marvelous. If you guys are just tuning in, we are here with Michael Canadas and special guest shopper Alicia Carver from Signature Dolls. We're having a
guest admirer.
Guest
I'm sitting
admirer.
here admiring
I was
this.
going to rate you up.
You were.
Yeah, look, David's writing. He's
I was
writing
going
the
to
ticket
open a
right
layaway
now.
for a layaway.
There we go. Can you do 36 months?
Sure. Why not?
Why not? That's the thing about.
So I
yes.
saw something the other day on one of the historical sites that I was reading about little child dresses, and that there were rules for how. So if you were younger, the dress was shorter, and if you were over 12 or 13 and 14, it came just below the knee, and if you were like 14, 15, it came a little lower, and there was a chart. And I found it, and I found that so fascinating. And it just kept dropping and dropping according to how old you were.
I think that's true, but I think also too the undergarments have a lot to do.
Right,
Because
because
if
it
you
posts it
if
out.
you took this, she's right now wearing
Yep.
a hoop,
Right.
and if you took the hoop off, this
Dress comes
would
lower.
be so much lower.
Right.
So that's why, you know, I know that I don't listen to the chat rooms, but I hear the chatter. And there's been a lot of chatter about the length of the dresses and how wide they should be, and that I'm wrong.
Uh-oh.
Well, here's the thing. We have the real documents, and I have a tape measure, and I'm right about how much material.
Right.
It's about 40 inches of material
For a
in
skirt.
a skirt.
Yep.
Okay.
You can argue all day long that whatever, and I never ever said. Another thing on the chat rooms is that Michael Canadas said that French fashion dolls never wore corsets. I never said that.
He's setting the record straight.
I never said that. It's been said publicly, and I never said that. That would be the craziest thing in the world to think. Why wouldn't she wear that?
Little girls wore corsets.
Yeah, why wouldn't?
Absolutely.
But I mean, what they meant was under the clothes.
Oh.
Absolutely. In the
Yeah.
Grovian, we have probably 10 dolls that have the original clothes have never been removed, and they're wearing underneath. You could feel that they've got corsets on.
Right.
So they didn't make these just for display. They
no,
were
absolutely.
playability.
Absolutely.
At what age do you think did the children start wearing
They
corsets?
started basically
Like 9 or 10,
well,
right?
Well, I think basically the thing, I forget what you call it, that you use on your belly button to push the belly button in. It's they put it on infants, and it's basically like a corset wraps around, almost like a weightlifting belt. That's basically a corset. So I think they went from that into a training, almost into a training.
Like a
corset.
training.
Yeah. So it's
So interesting. Again, we are here with Alicia Carver and Michael Canadas, and we are having an impromptu booth talk, which is so much fun.
I think bras weren't invented for a very long time. So.
oh yeah.
So they. Yes.
Sure. I mean in the sense of the concept of
Right,
a bra,
the modern
not
bra.
a bra's
Right.
brassiere, but
That's
the
right. So oftentimes these corsets had a little bit looseness on the younger girls on the top. So when they started to develop, it was sort of like a way to, I don't know, a way to
Train
protect them, train them. I don't know.
Yeah. What a wonderful study, though.
Yeah.
It is.
Did
So-
you get this wonderful coat?
No, I don't think we saw that last time.
I mean, this
Look at that.
is classic 1860s. It needs to have some beads, but you know what? You could literally recreate this in modern.
Oh, I'd love to
and
be
this would
wearing
be
that
so
now.
chic. Just change
So
a few
chic.
little lines of it, and it's Chanel before there was Chanel.
Totally. It's totally cocoa.
And you wear that,
It
and
is.
you,
Yeah.
don't
Oh, it's
you don't have
marvelous.
to
I
have
love
any
the
other
cut.
embellishments.
Absolutely.
the cuts of these dresses are very very complimentary to
They
a body.
are, sure. Because at this period also too, we were just talking about corsets. But it's the period of the natural form. So even though you wore a corset, you didn't wear it to create this super duper
No.
tiny waist.
No.
It was a natural waist then. What you did is you used it to hold the girls in place,
Yep.
smooth things out.
Right.
The skirt made your waist look tiny.
That's right. That's
A lot
silhouette.
of people don't know,
Yep.
like the 18-inch waist of Scarlett O'Hara. That was folk tales for Margaret Mitchell, who wrote the book, that she probably heard from her family in the 1890s, and she just incorporated it into the novel. So people, which is what people do, and that's why people think that they had natural waists, and if you really study the original costumes, they are hefty girls. But you know, if you've got a nice full skirt, it makes your waist tiny.
It sure does. That's why I think wedding dresses are some of the most
Exactly.
complimentary dresses for any figure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what.
Well, those
people love.
corsets were not good on the body. They were very restrictive.
Yes, unhealthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very unhealthy. And I think women fought back.
Yeah.
And they started fighting back in the 1820s, during the Regency period, and then we took a detour back into corsets for a while, and then finally shed them in the 1920s. Good, gone for
It's
good.
it's all in your point of view, because my great grandmother, every day of her life, she wore a corset.
Yes,
And
so
she
did my
could
mom.
not feel comfortable without
No.
it. And so, it's hard for us to judge it. I have a lot of experience wearing a corset, because sometimes I wear a back brace, and I get the
Yeah.
vapors.
You get the vapors that you carry smelling salts, Michael. So
You
my
guys are
grandmother,
right.
who was born in 1898, when I was a young girl, bought us all corsets. She couldn't fathom that young girls would not train their bodies with corsets. So we all had a corset. I wore it for about an hour and decided it wasn't for me. And then she was just horrified that I wouldn't wear it. So of course I did it to please her a few times, but it was not a pleasant.
She wouldn't let you be modern and wear a girdle.
No, they had to have shape. They had to create a silhouette, and she was very adamant that I wore it. And it had 1,000,000 hook and eye closures, and it took like longer to put on to do this and to blow dry my hair. So I was not a girl for a corset.
We women go through.
That's
if you
right.
guys are just tuning in, we are
what
chatting
about us
underwear.
What about men? Yeah, men get their chance here too.
We are chatting we're having a doll talk, but
Yes.
right now we're focusing on undergarments, and
That's
it's
right.
and it's very, very interesting. Yes, this was not planned, which is what we love about it.
Something else too, Rachel, because the chatters.
The chatters.
Yeah,
Oh,
in the chat
oh no.
rooms. Because there's always this chatting about.
Look at this, everybody. Look at. I mean, there's just piles and piles
Since
and
we're
piles
on
of wonderful
underwear.
clothes right here.
Let me find it. Take me a minute. She's got a lot of stuff.
We're just waiting for this to get listed on Ruby Lane.
Oh yeah, that'll be a fun day, won't it?
Yes, it will.
She's not managing her whites very well, because I'm not coming right to her.
What are you looking
you know
for?
what?
Drawers?
You know what? She could be wearing it.
Ah.
If you're tuning in, please share the video. We are having some doll fun with Michael
here.
Kanatis and Alicia Carver,
This
and we're
is
chatting
something
underwear.
the
It's so great.
The chat rooms have discussed this as not okay. So, she is an enfantine. That's her classification in French fashion dolls. So that means she's a girl doll. Girl dolls wore one-piece slips. Now they could have half slips, but they wore one-piece slips. Ladies and lady dolls did not wear one-piece slips. So this is a proper undergarment for a hiré.
Young lady.
And we even have a hiré onesie marked.
Oh wow.
So which means it was
Wow.
never laundered.
Right.
So this is absolutely proper. So when you're creating your wardrobe of hiré clothes, a lot of people are doing that. You really need to include onesies. The reason I think costumers don't like to do it is because it's more work, because it has to fit just right. Now, even to prove my point, Rose Percy, who's also
Yes.
she's an enfantine, but she's a gigantic enfantine. All of hers are onesies, and she doesn't have one. She's got like a half a dozen.
Right.
So she didn't have any other half slips except her winter petticoats,
Right.
which would be wools.
Yes.
And you wouldn't have a wool top on
No.
anyways.
It would be too scratchy.
So this is very important. And
Yes.
if you really look at it, look at this, how this would work. You'd be able to wear it with
Oh, there you go.
every outfit. You could wear the onesies.
Michael, your volunteer coordinator is tuning in right now.
Oh yeah, hi Mary. Mary Senko is our volunteer coordinator.
Well, you're volunteer coordinator for the Grovian.
Right, that's Mary Senko.
Oh, then which one's Kay?
Okay, Kay is the chairman of the volunteers.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, the chairman of the
If
volunteers.
you ever want to volunteer at the Grovian, you have to go through Kay.
Yes.
And she has a tough orientation.
She sure
period
does.
that
I
you
didn't
have
make
to-
it.
And if you just slip up in any way, that's it.
It's more
There's
like an
a-
initiation than,
Oh yeah.
than
Yeah. No, I think you've made it. You're in the okay.
Oh, am I okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're okay.
I'm
You're
okay with Kay.
You're okay with Kay. She does, but Mary is the. Gee, I just forgot what she is. She's our events coordinator.
Oh, the events
but,
coordinator,
But
yes.
Kay is the volunteer.
The volunteer coordinator.
And she is our. She keeps everybody in line.
Oh, she sure
Oh, yeah.
does. She runs a
Yeah.
pretty tight ship.
we all need someone like that.
And she comes from a place of no. Not really. We just like to get her.
Well, she's enjoying watching this right now. That's for sure. If you guys,
we're having fun.
We're in Ohio.
We are.
Kay is originally from Ohio.
oh, how
Yeah.
fun is that?
So we have to stop and get her some cider.
you
Apple
better get her
cider.
some.
Yeah,
Yes.
do you know
I
about
have not.
that?
No,
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know anything
Someone
about
It's a
from
thing out
Ohio
here.
will tell us that it's a
Okay.
big thing.
Yes.
And Alicia, where are you from?
I am from where I was born or where I lived all my life.
Oh, both.
Okay, so I was born in Havana, Cuba, and I was born the
Interesting.
year of the war, and my parents were waiting for me to be born to leave the country. So I was 3 weeks old, so I really don't know much about where I was born in terms of like location and what
Right.
it looks like. But I was raised in Florida, and I have been in Florida all my life. I did live in Boston when I was a student for a while, and then
that's
came
so
back
interesting.
married a Bostonian and dragged him back to Florida with me.
And I think he's sitting right
He's
over
sitting
there.
over there watching
Such a
his-
handsome guy.
He
He's
is
just-
watching
he
his
is.
Boston team play.
Oh, look at him go.
Yes. He doesn't know he's on camera though because
So
he won't
you're a
do-
fan. You're like my big fat Greek wedding, aren't you?
Yes, we are. I was telling Michael that last night at dinner that my husband and I are like my big fat Greek wedding. My family they all talk at once. And if you go to dinner with them, you have to learn how to just interrupt and just talk over everybody so you can get your point heard.
Yeah.
And I was used to that. So my husband, the first
Not
time
much different than a Portuguese family.
No, definitely. So we went to dinner and the whole night
You have
when
to
he
fight
first
for your spot.
he never
So-
spoke, and I said to him, "How come you never spoke?" He goes, "There was never a pause." I go, "You can't wait for pauses."
You
with my
just gotta,
family."
you just gotta get it in there.
That's right.
Yes.
And then his family, when I went to them the first time, it was very quiet, and everybody took turns talking, and I was not
Oh,
used
boy.
to that. And I was really uncomfortable. There were pauses in the conversation, so I had to learn how to get used to a pause. So we've kind of helped each
You're
other
getting
out.
better.
I'm getting better. There's still not much pause in my conversation.
But you both are some of our most favorite people to interview because we like to talk dolls.
well,
We talk our dolls.
We do. We talk our dolls. That's for sure. So we're going to do another pan of this booth. And then we're actually going to go live with Alicia Carver over in her
I'll go.
booth. So
I'll
maybe
go
maybe
over talk
Michael
about
can
her
be a
stuff.
yeah. Let's do it. Maybe he can be a celebrity guest shopper over there. I like that
write you
idea. I think we came up with a new way of the dolly cam.
thank you, Rachel.
Thank you both.
Rachel.
That was
Bye-bye.
wonderful. Bye bye. We're here live in the booth of Carmel Doll Shop, and we just had a wonderful little seminar with Alicia Carver and Michael Canadas. A lot of these magnificent dolls are in their Ruby Lane shop. Look at that Googly with her wonderful wig. I just love it. Googlies are just so much fun. Layaways are welcome at the Carmel Doll Shop, so don't ever feel, you can always inquire. This bride is just magnificent. I love this little stairway with all the little obisques on it. We hope you guys enjoyed this conversation that we just had. It was so much fun. Please share the video. Thank you for tuning in.